It's Stahl- und Betonindustrie.
Steel and concrete industry.
Thank you. Steel and concrete industry. Steel and concrete industry. If someone is not knowing what that means, it's just building like high houses and with stone and steel in it. So this is responsible for 11% of our worldwide CO2 emissions. 11%. Many people don't know that that this is such a huge amount. So why don't we just why should we put the trees into a big hole when we could use them to build houses? With a house, when we cut this tree, build a house with it, a house where you can live in, it will stay for 100 years. So we just have this gespeichert, saved. Thank you. My hand is running slow. This saved seed stays for 100 more years in this house, and it's just saved. So now you're thinking like, yeah, but what's with the big houses? There are projects and high houses with 84 meters just out of wood. This is huge, and this is
How many flats are 84 meters?
That's something I don't
Divided by 3 means 3D flats? I don't know, flats.
So I think if the stories are flat, you can have probably 20 of them.
Yeah, around.
Like Plattenbau.
Yeah.
I think there are not this high stories as in other skyscrapers, but if they are just for living, you have 50.
20 is a lot.
Yeah.
20 is really it's a huge building.
And we will visit such places on our track to talk to people building such houses. And I already talked to someone, and he said these houses will get much bigger. There's so much they can do in constructing it in the right way, so they can build higher and higher and higher wooden houses. So this is a place where we can save so much carbon dioxide just using wood instead of the other things. And we have to plant a tree. When we cut down one tree, we have to plant another. So this is just a system like putting out CO2 to a tree, saving it, cutting it down, and putting a new tree that's bringing CO2 from the air into the tree again. So now the question is, this was solution 2, like using woods. There are, just for your information, there are more possible ways of using it, not just building houses. You can make t-shirts out of it, clothes, textiles. You can already buy them. And we are also going to a company in Augsburg, that's in Germany. We're visiting them, and they are making or trying to make kind of plastic bottles, but with wooden textures, but they feel like plastic.
I think the chocolate from the bar is made in plastic, but it's also from wood.
Yeah, and the idea is not also from, but that it's just the whole packaging is just out of wooden texture. And there are many people trying to build something like this, and there are already toys for children that look like plastic, they feel like plastic, and they are light like plastic, but they are completely wood. So there's have been developed lots of things. So the first thing, we have to plant trees, and the second thing, we have to use it to leave the seed in this wood. So, but what's happening afterwards? What's happening at the moment? If we cut down a wooden house, and we mainly burn the rest of it, what's happening? CO2 comes from the burnt wood into the air. That's something we don't want, because we want all the sea out of the air bind for a long time. So there's our third solution. It's about biochar. Does someone know what this is? Biochar. biochar is like it's been done for hundreds of years. It's like it's not burning, but I just say it not correctly, but that you understand. It's like burning the wood, but without Sauerstoff.
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Yeah, it's without oxygen. And when you burn, it's not burning, it's coal, making coal out of it. Or char, you call it char. And it's burning without oxygen, and then you get this this tree trunk you would burn is getting black, and this is just concentrated C. So, carbon, yeah, thank you, my English. So it's focused carbon. So you have this carbon left, and you can just, again, you can just put it in a hole and close the hole. So the carbon is at the end under the earth. You can put it under the earth and it's gone. It's just not leaving in the air anymore. So we have this whole process of taking it through trees, out of the air, and the carbon into the wood, using this wood as long as we can, so decreasing the number of CO2 emissions in other industries like steel and so on, and then putting it underground. What might be interesting for you is that with putting this underground, it's not just that we have this carbon underground and it's gone, it also helps us in agriculture. Why? Have you already heard from Terra Preta? Terra Preta is what you call the earth, so the soil in around the Amazonas area, where Ureinwohner, native people have been using, or they found out accidentally that if they put like the rest of their meals and so on, and all on a big like our compost, and if they put on the coal out of the fire, the rest, if they put it on, that everything starts to grow in it really fast. So they used it as a dünger. Fertilizer, thank you. Yeah, they used it as a fertilizer. And so they did it for such a long time, and we can do it too, and we just forgot about it. It's just such an old knowledge, and we didn't use anymore, yes?
And is that not like illegal? Like, is that not basically burning fields?
It's not about burning fields, it's about...
Oh yeah, so using the captured carbon.
Yeah, but it's a good point. Burning fields point. We call it in Germany, we call it Brandrodung. It's just the way of burning a whole part of an area to clean the ground for building houses on it or using it for agriculture. It's happening all over the world. This is responsible for 12% of our CO2 emissions worldwide. 12%. Just burning trees and grassland for using the space to build houses on it and so on. Or building streets and stuff like that. So this is huge. And this is why we have to spread this knowledge about biochar too. Because if the people cut down the trees, cut down the grasses, put it in a big hole. This is how biochar also can work partly. If they put it in a big hole and burn it there, just a part of it will burn to ash and CO2, but the rest of it will stay there as char, so this black coal thing. And they can just put earth on it again and it's gone for them. So this solution is in two parts. So the one part is the wood we use in industry and so on, making char out of it and using it as a fertilizer. And the other point is that we have to bring up this information that we have to reduce burning fields, and we have to change it into making char there. And if the people are want to burn these fields and to have ground for planting, so for agriculture, it's really good to know for them that if they put this char underground, that everything will grow faster in that place. Maybe it's a good information why is it like that. Char has a really huge Oberfläche,
Surface area?
surface, thank you. It has a large surface as a material. So on this large surface, nutrition, I think,
Nährstoffe?
yeah, Nährstoffe, nutrients are getting like stuck on it better. So if this is underground, the plants have a lot of more nutritions than they would have without the char under the earth. This is why everything grows so fast. Yeah, this is solution number 3. So all of this, as you can see, is working together and as a whole. So this is just about bringing CO2 out of the air, saving it, and then bringing it underground, helping us additionally. These are 3 of our solutions.
So I have a question. The nutrients has to be fixed by atom or something.
What's the question? Du kannst sie auch schnell auf Deutsch machen.
Also der Nährstoff muss jetzt an so ein Molekül gebunden sein, weil ansonsten die Nährstoffe nicht da sind.
They are okay. The question was if we have to put the nutrition onto the coal. No, it's just like in the ground there is nutrition, but it's getting washed away, but not with char. It's kind of getting washed into the char and it's staying there better. So it's just a way of saving the nutritions for a longer period of time up on the ground level where the plants can get with their roots.
I'm not sure, maybe it helps if you know, because charcoal, they use it in Norit. It's like the tablet you take when you have diarrhea in like foreign countries, and it absorbs the bad toxins that create the diarrhea. So we actually use it, and it's like, so it just absorbs by itself all the things that surround it.
Yeah, and save it so
Yeah.
that it's not getting washed away that fast than in normal earth. This is, yeah. Is it okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I wonder where the nutritions will be gone when they are not fixed, because they are in the ground already.
They just wash like further down,
Yes.
and then they're out of reach. It's also
Yeah.
charcoal doesn't filter toxins. Charcoal like takes on everything. So
Yeah.
it also takes on the nutrients. So if you take charcoal
Yeah, yeah.
tablets, it will like also filter out all the good stuff that you
Yeah,
take in
no,
just as
but
well.
I mean, so does that, like, that's how we use it, but
Yeah.
indeed it like takes everything, but
Yeah.
that's why you shouldn't take it always.
Yeah. But this is why it's really good and why it worked for the people in the Amazonas area, because they put nutrients on it with their compost and everything, and when you shit they put it also on there and so all good things in there don't wash down, they stay in this coal part of the earth, of the soil, and getting saved. And this is very good for the plants because they can reach it with their roots. Yeah. So this is maybe good to know for you. Okay.
Sorry, are you planning to do a break in between?
Do you need a break?
Yeah, but if nobody else needs, then
We
I will
could
just
we could
go.
make a break here. It's a good point for a break. I would say one more thing. Or 2 more things. Then we make a break. And one thing is where to plant the trees. It's important that we plant trees everywhere, but there are lots of scientists searching for the best places to plant the trees. And if you plant trees in Latin America, Southeast Asia and Africa, parts of Africa, not everywhere, the trees grow 4 times faster than when we plant it here. So so when they grow faster, they take the CO2 out of the air faster because they grow with it. So we should plant in these places, and this is another thing we are talking about global. We have to plant global and think global where to plant. Not just okay, we should plant trees. We put everything here. No, it's more useful to plant in other places around the world. So also for Africa, it's important because they have lots of deserts, and you can stop desertification with planting these trees. And they have lots of problems with losing their soil, their grounds where they can plant crops. Because it's just like getting carried away with the wind, because they are cutting their trees, they are increasing people, and they are cooking with fire. On lots of places they cut down all the trees, and then they lose the soil where they can plant their crops on. So it's just so helpful in so many different ways to plant trees, not just for taking the carbon out of the air, it's also for many other points. So we should work globally together to plant in these areas. This is one thing I wanted to say, and the other thing is, okay.
Because do you know the reason why they grow fast in these countries?
Yeah, it's warmer, and it's there's sun the whole year, because here we have winter and summer. So mainly the trees grow in summer. Plant for the Planet, I work together with them, and they have a plantage in Mexico, and the trees grow the whole year because there's no winter. So when the trees grow the whole year, they grow faster, and they have lots of that's another point. Lots of big areas, more space than we have probably, and yeah, but it's mostly about being warm the whole year. And it's also about the humidity in the air. There are different things, and maybe it's interesting for you. We are also going to the ETH Institute in Zurich to Crowther Labs. They are doing research on exactly this topic. They have like little chambers where they let trees grow and see under what conditions they grow faster, and they're really researching on that in little chambers, and we will visit them with our trip, and we will with our project, and we will make if everything works out make videos of all these solutions, so that we put all this information together on our website, and talking with the scientists, and put all together on the website to answer such questions.
What are chambers?
Like rooms, chambers, rooms. It's just a word. Yeah, Kammer.
So.
Yeah, it's just a word that came into my rooms, climate rooms. So yeah. And before we have the break, maybe I will want to say what's happening next. It's about solution 4, 5, and 6, and this solution has to do with a lot of space where for solution 4 and 5 has to do with an area where the sun, in one day, the sun brings that much energy that we use a whole year. And I want to know from all of you which area I'm talking about, but not now, after the break. Okay. Maybe 10 minutes, be back here.
Yeah.
So at 12?
Again. Yes. Hi. You can join us if you want to. Okay, so I gave you the question. So we have got a new member. So I'm bringing this question up again. We were talking about that there's an area on the Earth where on one day more energy comes down from the sun than we as humanity use in 1 year. So do you know about which area I talk? It's kind of obvious.
The desert.
The deserts, yes.
All of them, or only the Sahara?
All of them. So all of the deserts get more energy in 1 day than we as humanity use in 1 whole year. So there's enough energy for us if we would just use it. So another point why deserts are really interesting for us to get energy out of there. It's because there is not much biodiversity that we that we destroy with that, because you know about water power, wind power. It's kind of a problem with biodiversity, and there is not lots of biodiversity in the deserts. That's a good point for us. We're just partly helping because we create shadows, so maybe the biodiversity will rise through solar plants. Yes, how can we get the energy from the sun and make it into power for us? There are two different ways. Photovoltaic, how is it in English?
It's the same.
Like
photovoltaic energy.
photovoltaic, the things you have on the rooftops.
Solar panels.
Solar panels, yes. So using solar panels, how does it work? We have the solar panel. It is using the sun to create energy, and we save this. We use this energy immediately, like here, or save it in batteries. This is maybe the bad thing about it, because we have to create batteries to save it. There's another way of that I'm really excited about, bringing the sun of the energy of the sun into power using solar thermy.
That's right.
This is a process that's working with heating up like oil or salt. Maybe you've seen pictures of it. It's like huge mirrors in the desert, round mirrors around a pipe. Yeah, thank you. Yay! Thank you for helping me all the time. Around the pipe. In this pipe there's running oil. So this oil is reused, so don't be afraid. And this oil is getting heated up to 380 degrees with these mirrors, with the help of the sun. And what do we do with this heat? We use this heat to heat up water, and there's coming up steam out of the water. And with this steam we can make a machine run. And the good thing is, when the sun goes down in the evening, the oil is still hot. So we can run this machine the whole night until the sun rises again. So this is great, because when we are talking about renewable energies in Germany or in Europe, we're always talking about, oh, it's so bad because we have to save everything in batteries, and on the day we have lots of energy, and in the night, or if there's no wind, we have no energy and it's not safe and we can't do it. Yes, we can, because there we have like 265 days, 7 days a week, 24 hours with energy the whole time. This is just great. It's just working. Just as an example, that it is working, that you get to know how that it's actually working. There are lots of solar thermy parks already, and one is building up in Morocco, where we walk. We will visit this park. It's called Noor. Noor is the name for light, and it's in Ouarzazate, next to Marrakesh. That's why we go there with Go for Climate. And Mohammed VI decided in 2010, that old is this idea and this whole thing. It's just amazing that they will build a solar thermal park, because Morocco up to this point had to import 97% of their energy. This is huge. They have so huge deserts and they imported 97%. So this is not good for them, because they depend on other countries around them. So he decided, okay, we do this project. And with just this single solar thermal park, it's getting the biggest in the world at the moment, and they are planning to finish it in 2022. And then Morocco will have 42% of green energy for the whole country.
Only from that.
Only from this one park. 42%.
Amazing.
This is
Wow,
amazing.
It's great.
And this is where we get to another point that why this is so good. Because we have back again. We have if they build another park, they are almost to 100% green just with 2 of them. If they build a third park, then they have a clean export resource. So they can get wealth with green energy. This is just great. So there's someone talking to me, he said, this is great because we can make poor people rich in a green way, and we can make the rich people green. This is great. We can, with working together, we can help each other because we are not really green. We are not. They can help us to get green, and we can help them to get wealth and to get wealth over a long period of time. So because they have this export resource. And another, just for you as an information, another way how this works, can work this park. Maybe you've seen a picture of this. If you build a huge tower in the middle, and they have salt in this tower, and they have like computer gesteuert control. Thank you. I always look at you. They have computer-controlled mirrors in huge circles around this tower, and they're concentrating the whole sun energy on this one point and heating up salt up to 580 degrees. So even 580 degrees, and heating up the salt, and they let it fall down into water when it's when the sun is going down, and the steam is coming up, and they working with the machine with the steam. So it's kind of the same idea, but working in a different way. This is the 2 ways, and yeah, I think it's amazing because we don't have to think about the problem anymore that we have lots of energy and then nothing in the night, and just that you get an idea about how big the differences are. If we would build, if you would say, I'm always talking about Germany because I have these numbers, I'm sorry, because this is international, but in Germany we would need 264, in Germany it's called gigawatt, so it's a number for a power. We would need these 264 gigawatt to make Germany completely green with renewable energies. If we would use wind power, solar power, everything in Germany. If we would use the energy out of the deserts, we would just need 15 gigawatts. So 15 gigawatt against 264. That's a difference. You have to imagine that 1 gigawatt cable is that thick. If you put your, yeah.
Can you repeat that?
Okay, it's no problem. I just told you that if we would try to make Germany clean just with renewable energies, like wind or solar energy, like photovoltaic in here, we have these changes in energy because of day and night, and we would need 264 gigawatt, we say in Germany. I don't know how to say it.
Gigawatt hours.
Gigawatt hours. Thank you. Gigawatt. Yeah, we say.
This is Leistung.
Yeah, this is. We say gigawatt. Okay, that's very short. And that if we would use the energy out of the deserts, we would just need 15 gigawatt in comparison, because we don't have to work with going up and down in the energy. And that 1 gigawatt cable is like that thick. And if we would bring 15 of these from, for example, the Sahara to Germany, we could put the plug out of atomic industry company
Power plant?
place.
Nochmal, Erfolg?
So ein Atomkraftwerk.
Yeah.
Nuclear plant.
Nuclear plant, thank you. Nuclear plant, put it out and plug these 15 cables in there, then we could spread the energy from there. So we should use these networks there that are there already, so that we can finance it. Yeah.
We would need just 15 gigawatt in total for Germany.
In Germany.
But how come that we now need 80 gigawatt and we have 40% renewable energy, so it's like around 50 gigawatt coming from...
We have the problem that we have to compensate the day and night differences, because on the day we have lots of amount of energy, but we have to save it in the night, so we have to build lots of capacity with batteries, and it's all calculated in on top of it, so the battery capacity is on top of it. Yeah.
I'd like to ask you if you're talking about the energy part, which is electricity. I think so, because
yeah.
there are many. Electricity is around about 30 or 25%,
Yeah.
and the other points are other.
It's a good
parts.
point. It's a good point he's picking up. At the moment, for solution number 4, I'm just talking about electric energy. Yeah, at the moment. But it's solution 5 is coming. But yeah, now I'm just talking about electric energy because it's a source of for different energies. So I will come to that.
May I ask you another question? I, as an engineer, I don't understand how the thing with the mirror in the Sahara is working, because there's lots of wind, even in Morocco. I know it as a windsurfer, and if you get the sand and the mirror over a very short time, normally the sand was crashing the surface of the mirror so that it becomes blind. I don't understand why the mirrors in the Sahara or other places don't become blind, because of the combination of wind-powered sand, which is making the mirrors blind.
I can't give you an answer to that, but it's a really interesting question. I will bring this up.
I will know this if I will
Yeah.
talk to people. I will know.
You want to know how this
to
works?
give you an argument
Yeah.
against those questions.
If they say up to now there just came questions up about it's getting and the mirrors are getting dirty. How do you deal with that? Just cleaning them so you can turn them out of the
Cleaning
light
is
stream.
easy, but
Yeah,
if they
I know
become
your
blind,
point.
they
I know.
lose their function. They lose its ETA, which is der Wirkungsgrad. ETA würde
Yeah.
tierisch in den Keller fallen. If
If it gets yeah.
how is it called?
Scratches on the surface. That's true.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. I will bring this up because I'm talking directly to the people from the park, so I
Yeah,
can bring this
ask
question
them
up.
please and give me the answer.
It's a really interesting question. What I before I give it to you, what I can say is that it's working. So there
I
is
know
a
it's
way.
working,
So
exactly.
because it's working at the moment, and how I will find it out. Yeah.
You don't have storms all the time, so they just get like covered when the storm comes up, as far as I'm aware, and obviously like there's maintenance happening.
Not so fast. Can you repeat
Sorry,
it in
yeah,
German, please?
Also die werden halt einfach eingefahren. Wenn ein Sturm kommt, werden die eingefahren, soweit ich weiß, oder halt eingeklappt. Und
Okay.
dann, also du hast ja immer Verbrauchserscheinungen, also die werden auch auf jeden Fall gewartet, aber das, wie das genau funktioniert, weiß ich auch nicht.
And,
Also muss ich mir
he's-
vorstellen, dass da ein Rollladen runtergeht bei den Solarpanels, sobald Wind aufkommt. Und ich habe ja immer eine gewisse Windbewegung, habe ich ja immer. Also Sturm ist gut und schlecht. Wenn ich 6 Windstärken habe, fahre ich das Ding runter. Aber ich habe ja auch immer so einen leichten Hauch, ich meine, wir haben den Sahara-Sand bei uns in Deutschland, wenn es regnet.
Okay, so maybe just to say it in English, they were just talking about there are just a few days where sandstorms are coming up. So if the sandstorms are coming up, they put the mirrors down. I can tell you that in the next to Marrakesh, where Noor is standing, it's 3 days in the year where there's sandstorms. just is an information for you. If these sandstorms come, they like zufeuern, they burn biomass to compensate on these 3 days that the energy is running the whole time. So it's just as an add-on information. But yeah, and they bring the mirrors down, and he said, yeah, but there's the whole time there is there's a little bit of wind and there's a little bit of sand on the mirrors, and that's true. And I think we have to think about these mirrors as low tech. This is really low tech. It's not like we're talking about panels where silicium or earth, there are no materials in that are really not that
complex, rare, expensive.
Rare, no rare things in it. So it's low tech. You can easily rebuild or change into new mirrors. So we are talking about low tech, and this is a really good point about it. But I will find out how for you how is actually, or how often they have to change it. This is a good point.
Yeah, how they save them.
Yeah. Another question at this point, you say? No. Because I want to give you an interesting information, because I was wondering, okay, deserts. Lots of people are living far away from the deserts. How is transport working? Because don't we lose too much energy in the transport? And it's really nice because 90% of humanity is living not more than 3,000 kilometers away from deserts.
90% 3,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
Alright.
And 3,000 kilometers, per 1,000 kilometers we lose 3% of the energy with transporting it. So that's not that much.
That's not that much.
It's not that much. That's
so
true.
Sahara can support whole Europe more or less.
More or less.
Or is it the south and the middle?
And the nice thing about that is, as I said, there are deserts all over the world that can. We said it earlier. We have the deserts, and we have this. This is why we're talking about Europe and Africa working together, because we have, for example, the Sahara to trade with the energy of the Sahara, but this is you can adopt this whole concept all over the world, because there are deserts all over the world. Yeah. I have to check my list if I forgot any of it.
May I ask you if you know how many percent we can earn on electricity energy if we use other areas, other Flächen, which are not in the desert? I mean, Germany is huge, and we still have got possibility of all the roofs and other areas where we can build photovoltaic power plants. I think it's not only to go for the solution in the desert, we still have got other possibilities to rise up.
We can and we should also do that, but we always have the problem of this changing amount of energy we have during night and day. And what the desert helps us with is that we have a huge concentration of energy in the deserts. So the money we invest there and we spend there to build solar thermic parks is kind of better invested than building it here, because we have less sun, we have less heat, and these parks just work when you have a huge park working as a whole system with steams and producing energy through the night. And just with spending the money here, you can't do that much. As another point, if you spend this money there, you can, because this sounds like neo-colonialism when you say it's cheaper there, but it's not that we want to get something just like going there and stealing their sun. But when we work globally together, it's better to bring the money over there for different reasons. It's because there is more energy and it's more one level energy over the whole time, and we can bring money to this place, we can bring wealth to Africa, we can bring wealth to these countries, and we can give them a clean export resource. This is just amazing. This is about more than just about the energy. Yes?
I was thinking about Saudi Arabia, for example. Today we pay a lot of money to them for buying the oil from there. I think they are not like a colony of Europe. I think they are sovereign monarchy.
Thank you. This is a good point, but you have we get confronted with neocolonialism very often because not everybody thinks like you think, and this has a reason, because what I'm talking about is like the idea of Desertec. Desertec has been developed as a concept, as an idea in around 2010, and Desertec was responsible to build this solar park in Noor with Mohammed VI. And they wanted to build this park, but they wanted to build lots of more parks because they already knew how important it would be to get green energy and how much energy there is. But sadly, there were some companies, RWE and E.ON, they were saying, oh yes, green energy, that's nice, we pay into that. So they paid lots of money and were getting investors for Desertec project in Morocco. And at first the people from Desertec thought, okay, they're thinking good, they want to change something, but in the end they realized why they really did it. It was a strategic reason because they were setting up a fight between two CEOs of inside this company of RWE, and they said, okay, one of them said, isn't it neocolonialism to go to Africa and steal them their sun? We have been stealing everything from them, so just leave them their sun, at least. And the other said, no, it's not neocolonialism. And then they had this discussion, open discussion in the media, and then RWE just like let one of them go. So they said, okay, we are standing for this point that we shouldn't steal the sun from the African people because it's neocolonialism. And this is what they did. They invested money so that they can say, we made a mistake, oh, we are so sorry, we are going back of it, and Desertec is dead for us, Desertec is bad. And this is why Desertec died, kind of, because they were paying like yes.
Sagst du auf Deutsch?
Mir fällt nicht mal das deutsche Wort ein. The German word is missing. When you raise numbers and statistics, yeah. They were paying for statistics, and these statistics were. It was about how to get the energy from the deserts to Europe, to Germany, for example. And they calculated it completely stupid. They calculated it like, okay, we bring the energy from the Sahara to Spain, and then we have to build a complete new network for energy in complete Europe just for this energy. This is stupid because we already have a network and we have to bring this energy directly, how I said before, to plug it in this country, and then it's not that expensive. And they brought all of these things up in the media, and the people thought, okay, it doesn't work. So this is the common sense that ideas like Desertec doesn't work or don't work. Yeah.
I like to say two things. I think it's not really wrong when they say there's a new network needed. We still have got in Europe, in Germany, the problems that we still have got the wind energy, and there is a network, and to that network there is to add a new network to transport all the energy. You can't transport all energy through a network. There has to be the right dimension on the network. And the other thing I like to say is the idea. I'm an older man, and at the beginning of the of using wind energy, RWE, built Grovian. I don't know if you heard about it. It was a wind power thing with 1.5. Don't know the numbers, the zeros behind, but it has got 1.5 of energy of power, and it don't works. And then RWE said, "Oh, we can't go into wind energy because it's not working." And then other companies start with 0.5 of power, and it worked. And they developed, and now it's no problem to build. They earned knowledge from the small energy, wind energy plants, and now they still have got no problems to build 2.0 of energy in wind energy turbines.
Maybe this is, yeah?
This is like common practice among companies to like spread false information. The reason that we all recycle is so Coca-Cola could keep on producing plastic bottles. They started like an environmental organization called Keep the Earth Beautiful, just like branches all over the world now. And they basically argue, if we all just change our lifestyle, then that will change the planet, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the reason we all recycle, is because so plastic can be kept on producing, and then that we feel responsible for it in the end, and not like instead of finding green solutions that are like sustainable,
Exactly.
putting that on companies.
Yeah, this is a good point.
This is a good point.
Good. Yeah, this is a good information. This is how and this is how Desertec died, because clearly the fossil fuel industry, or the industry earning money with that is earning money with that. This is the whole point about it, and they already invested in the techniques and stuff like that, and transporting everything. So if they will pay and they will invest in green energies, but they, at the moment, they try to elongate the time they can use all these fossil fuel energy things, because they already pay for it, so they want to use it as long as they can. So this is what we have to be aware of the whole time. When we hear like bad news about green energy, then we should rethink where does it come from and why. So just as an information for you, why Desertec died. And we try to also inform the people that it's working, and it's working right now in Morocco, and this is why we go there, and why we want to show the people that it's working. And if questions like yours come, what's with the mirrors, then we want to answer these questions. This is the thing about the whole project, like bringing these solutions up and discussing them and showing how it really is with visiting the places. Yeah.
Are you working with divestment groups? Because if not, you should. Divestment is the process of taking money that is invested to the fossil fuel companies, which was like very common practice because you get like more money out of that. But people realizing that this is not good and okay, and moving all this money somewhere else. And if then you have like small startups that like are clearly working and like will bring off huge profits in the future, then it might be worse, like, because a lot of times the divestment groups ask like, oh yeah, where should they invest the money? And they're like, we don't care. Wherever you want, that would be like sustainable solutions, but you do it yourself, and if then you like have a list of all these projects.
This is good. Could we talk later about this in more detail?
Yeah.
Thank you. Perfect. And one more question?
I'd like to ask you again, like in the talk we had before, if you think the Arabian Spring and the disruptions and crises of this time has had an influence on the developments on Desertec or similar projects.
So
I think there were plans to do something like this in Libya, and I know that it didn't happen because of the crisis there.
I don't know about that, but I had lots of talks in the last few weeks about issues like that, and the main thought was always that we get also oil out of countries that have problems, that have crises, because they earn money with it. So for them, it wouldn't be a reason we have war. So we don't build new resources for us to earn money. So I think we should not think about it like this. And also lots of people come up with the point, oh, we we bind us to them if we buy energy from them, but this is what we do right now with oil. So we are bound to countries that also are not completely secure or working perfectly, or we are not partly we are saying, okay, it's not good what you're doing in your country, but we buy energy from them. But what we are doing with investing in energy out of the deserts is that we bring up more of these places. So we just increase the number of places we have to buy from. So it's just best what we can do, because there are many places we can go to get our energy from. And I think this is a good point. And I don't think that. If there are huge problems, I think in a country they won't invest in new things because they have different things to deal about. But if they can earn money, they will do it. So this is just my opinion. Yeah.
So you could imagine that often it's a bad excuse, Ausrede from conservative energy companies, for example.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
The essence of capitalism is taking something that is trash and no one wants, making sure that you want it, and then selling it to you for a high price. If that's not the story of what I don't know what is.
Yeah.
And if you then do something more sustainable, you make less profit, because it's like actually work that has to go in rather than just taking trash from somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is we said lots of things about how we are influenced by companies like RWE or E.ON, and what we try with this project is to raise awareness about solutions off-grid. So and try to bring these solutions to people, and in the media discussion we will come to the project in more detail later, but this is what we try to reach with our project. This is our goal, that so many people know about it, really know about it, and detailed know about it. So I in the last weeks and months I gained a lot of knowledge about all these things, but as you can see I can't answer everything yet, but we are collecting information from first place, from the first sources. So we are working